Wow, we're recording. Welcome to the TNT Zoom call hosted by the amazing Cammie McMahon and Mamel Hurley, the founders of TNT. As you can tell, we're in a feisty mood tonight. Take it away, Cammie.
Oh my goodness, does it get any better? Like, for real, does it get any better?
I don't think so.
And a tiara and a sash? No, I don't think so.
Oh, right. Like, I'm feeling a little left out. I need one.
I know.
One of each. So.
Wow, why didn't everyone come in their national marketing director cueness?
Oh goodness, we are in for a real treat tonight. We have a fantastic lineup of all kinds of goodies, but we're going to start out with our wonderful news anchor, the Megster, with news you can use.
All right, I need to share my screen, Mama.
Oh, right. I don't know. It's new every week. No, I pushed the wrong button. I mean, at least I'm consistent. There's so few things that you can count on in life.
So you were just giving other people time to show up. You were actually being thoughtful.
I'm so thoughtful. Oh my goodness. That should do it, Megster.
All right. All right. We have a couple events for our week this week. We have the Come Join Us event. It's a Zoom event, and Kimmy's gonna talk a little bit about that. And she's gonna be hosting the call. So, Kimmy, you wanna talk a little bit about the Come Join Us Zoom?
Thank you. So I'm hosting tomorrow night on our Come Join Us Zoom, and then we have a fantastic lineup, and we're going to be hearing stories about how to have freedom in our health and our finances. And with the lineup, I just can't tell you, we're going to knock it out of the park. I'm so excited about that. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central, right here, same Zoom, same time, same place.
All right. And then we have our Q month contest. So if you add a new P plus to your business, your sponsor will give you $25 for doing that as a sponsor bonus. So that's really, really cool and a good way to get some income this month. And we also have our stress talk that is actually Cammie's upline NMD, and she can share a little bit more about her.
I'm so excited about this one. I've heard Dr. Sharon's stress Zoom. Well, it's a Zoom this time. I've heard her in person twice on this. She's absolutely spectacular. Ties it back to our mission, ties it back to how our bodies function. It's just really, really good. And it's one that you definitely don't want to miss, and you definitely want to have people in front of Dr. Sharon, because she does a fantastic job of just speaking and building belief and the picture of what it looks like to be healthy and vibrant.
I have not heard this particular Zoom, but I love Dr. Sharon, you guys. I'm excited about this call, so I'm going to be inviting far and wide.
Me too.
It's always nice to have that doctor's perspective, because you always have those people like, well, my doctor says this. So it's really good to have those people get on these types of calls, because the doctor's actually saying do nutrition. So this is definitely going to be a call to definitely invite to and bring your people to. And then we're having something new. We heard about Core Rank over conference, and we want to implement that into our team. And we're going to start a TNT Core Rank University. And so if you are looking to going for partner, be a partner, or Partner Plus, we're going to meeting next Wednesday at 7:00. And then if you're looking at going for QSC with a qualified business, you'll want to meet us at 8 p.m. that night. So that's something that's going to be really, really fun. And good training for you guys and to get you to those promotions. And we're really excited about that as a leadership team. And so make sure you mark your calendars for that. And then we have our Night Owl Edition JP Live. And we're going to be replaying the conference. And so some of you that have missed it over the conference that we had this last week, you'll be able to watch it with us and get to check that out and learn more about the Juice Plus conference. So.
And since it's a shorter period of time, we're just going to be replaying some of the highlights, some of the snippets that we most enjoyed. So we'll be picking a segment for each one of those nights and playing a little bit for you. So I'm excited to re-listen because there were a few segments that were like,
And even if you were taking notes, you couldn't have possibly taken notes fast enough. So I'm excited to watch some of it again.
the social media stuff
Right?
was
Amazing.
wow. And then Jamie Cantrell, wow. Those are two, like for me, those are too much.
But then the bundle stuff.
But then the bundle, yes.
And the videos, the new videos, like, come on. There was just so much good stuff over the
I think
weekend.
we just picked our three
I
things.
think so.
Well, that was easy.
That's the best parts, in my opinion. Okay.
Yeah, totally. It was definitely a lot of good information. I love going to conference. Something I look forward to twice a year. And so definitely hop on with us and learn more about the business, about this new exciting stuff that's happening in our business. And so definitely mark your calendars for those dates. So that's all I have for this week. So they get back to Kimmy.
Thank you, Megster. News you can use. I love our news anchor. Okay, so we have a few things happening tonight. And I'm kind of like, which one do I choose first? They're all so good.
I don't know. Pick anything.
So yeah, that's what, you know what? Great
Go
minds.
ahead.
I was in there. I think we need a Q update first before we go in.
Oh, what a good idea.
She's just psychic.
Does everybody know I've got a really expensive bottle of champagne that I'm going to open when we hit Q? I'm just saying I'll share it with whoever's here, but take your time. But I was thinking about it and thinking, well, that's no fair. What if you can't be here? And
What if you don't already live in the house?
Or live in Texas that you can just hop in the car and drive there.
I think I have 2 people who just signed up to help me drink my bottle.
Yeah.
But what if you don't? What about you? That's kind of sad. Don't you want to share in the celebration? So I've been thinking about it and I have a few ideas. I mean, you guys know I'm pretty high on the fun factor. So I was trying to think, right?
The tiara did not give you away.
No, not at
You-
all.
The sash. Just say.
So, Katie, you're jealous. Admit it. I know, because that's how you roll. Okay, so here's what I was thinking. I want to do something for you other than, well, I'm going to raffle off from the giant bowl. I think what I'm going to do is 5 $100 drawings because I'm getting a $5,000 bonus. So that's what I'm thinking. Don't quote me on it yet, but that's what I'm thinking. But other than that, for the fun factor, I'm thinking, what do you guys want from me? Do you want me to put a purple streak in my hair? Or a teal streak in my hair? Or would you like to see on Facebook Live my entire family jumping into the pool with, fully clothed and everything, just for a fun factor when I get the phone call that I'm a QNMD and we pop the bottle open, then we jump in the pool?
Pick me.
Cammie.
I say all the above. Hello. All of it. Purple, teal, pool, the whole kit and caboodle.
I agree, Cammie. I totally agree.
I'm not alone.
I say at least the pool, you can cover the gray on your own time. So
Hey! Oh my gosh, you guys. Too much fun. All right. Well,
Maybe we should put a poll in TNT.
yeah, because I want to know. I want to give back to my team, and that's how I'm going to give back.
By pushing me in the pool.
Ooh, I get a push.
All y'all in the pool. All of you are getting
All
pushed.
y'all.
All y'all.
All y'all.
Yeah. Right.
That's how you know we're truly Texans when we start saying all y'all.
I know, it never occurs to me yet.
No.
I'm still in the Chicago, you guys.
Yeah, everybody's guys.
And Henry wants to make sure y'all know it's one word. All y'all. All y'all's one word.
Oh.
Good to know.
It's not all y'all.
All y'all.
No,
All y'all.
all y'all.
We're learning so many things today.
This is a very educational call, you guys. You guys.
You guys.
See? All right. So that's the Q update. Be thinking about that. What can I do for you? So that you can share in this. And then we have a really cool, fun contest promotion for this month because we're all about that. So who's going to tell about that?
Oh.
Makester, do you have that flyer?
Mixer's got this the picture.
I do not have it ready. I forgot to do that one.
Well, it's called,
I mean, I have it, but I don't have a screen to pull it up.
well, we're having a technological.
If you'll allow me to share, I've got it.
All right, everybody, yeah, you can share. You should be good.
It's our No Tricks and All Treats TNT October contest. So any partner with 2 new orders outside of their household is going to get a $5 Starbucks card and entered into a raffle to win a $100 Amazon card. And the fun piece of this is Mamel's giving a $100 Amazon card, and so is Cammie. So we've teamed up together to each give our own branches. You know, we're kind of a family tree here with TNT. Our own branches of TNT are getting to go into separate bowls to earn or to win the raffle of a $100 Amazon card.
So you're saying 2 bowls and $200 gift cards are happening?
Yes, ma'am.
That's exciting.
Okay, I like it. I like it. I like it. Okay. So, what now, Cammie?
So now we're going to go, we need a Wanda Woman update. Our weekly Wanda Woman update needs to happen.
Oh, okay, I am unmuted. Okay.
You're good.
This has been a new adventure for me, this shredding full time, since the end of August. And so I'm learning about how my body's responding this whole time. And I'm excited about the response because, the pounds are coming off. I'm feeling better. I feel a little more vibrant and so forth. And I hit a plateau this week. So I'm still reporting that I am still down 15 pounds. So
Awesome.
yeah. So, during this last week, it was like one day I was up a little bit and then I went back down a little bit and, but overall, I'm still down 15 pounds from when I started. And so that's good. And I'm having fun starting, with new recipes and getting creative and, so shredding is the bomb.
Awesome. And we do have a shred group going on right now.
We started today.
We did. We started today, and everybody gets to pick their own time frame. The recommended minimum is 10 days. To give your body a great detox. At least 10 days a month is what's recommended. But then you can do it full time, like Wanda's doing, and I've been doing it pretty full time. I have caffeine in my life right now, but then I just took alcohol back out again, and because I got to save up for this. I'm gonna get it all detoxed.
But even if we're shredding, that bottle's still getting opened when the call
Well,
comes.
that's true.
That's
Absolutely.
this bottle doesn't count.
Shred pause.
That's called a shred pause. Exactly. Big fat pause button on that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so if anybody wants to join in, we've got a Facebook Messenger group going where we're kind of talking about it all day long and encouraging one another. So that's going on too. And so do we want to tell about conference awards?
Ooh.
Conference awards, because the awards were wide. It went wide. There was a lot of people that won things. So
We gave out, I believe, $310 cash, which is exciting. I'm in the process of Venmoing the people who won. So you could all help me out. You know you're all going to be winning cash from me all the time by going on Venmo, making sure you got the app, and friending me on Venmo. It just makes it easier. Only if you want me to send you cash. Though. If you don't.
I mean, I've been a friend with you.
Venmo.
No, and cash has not shown up yet. There's something wrong with this picture.
Well, okay then. You ready to hear?
Yes, please.
Lori won $10. Shelly won $10. And it goes up from there. Katie won 15. Hannah won 30. Renata won 30. H-Man won 35. Dave won 50. Wanda won 50. And Leah won $80.
She cleaned up.
Yeah. So way to go, you guys. There was a separate leader raffle, but we're not going to talk about that. So there you go. That was very exciting. We love to do that around conference. It just makes it more fun. So there you go. And I think we're just down to story time, aren't we?
It's story time. So I think that it's no coincidence that conference, a lot of it was geared around telling our stories. And I believe it was Jeff Roberti that said, what do we get paid for? We get paid to tell our stories. And it just so happened today was story time on the team call, like no coincidence there. So we're going to hear from a few people about their stories. And then it kind of ties into that core rank that we're going to be talking about quite a bit in the next few weeks on TNT. So I would like to start out. Who do I want to hear from? How about Josh? Let's start with Josh.
Yeah.
And before Josh talks, I love his story. I just want to say, as you're listening to people share their stories, it's really important, you guys, because as you're telling your story and as you're listening to your people, you're going to hear people who have certain issues. Like Josh has a big allergy component to his story, and you're going to think, oh, I got to connect them to Josh. So you want to listen and hear what's in these stories so that you can call on those people later. That's what we're doing here. That's what we're here for, is to serve you and each other. And I heard somebody say once that an NMD, that's the top level of our company. I'm wearing the sash. One of my friends made it to NMD and then sent me her sash so I could have it around to motivate me. NMDs are the ones who have the most stories. In other words, they know the most stories out there. They know lots of stories, so they can pull them out of their hat and they know who to connect people with. So I want you to listen with those kind of ears. Josh, are you up for telling your story?
Sure. What kind of time frame? Because I got a lot of story.
We want to keep these brief so we can get in as many as possible. So no more than 2 to 3 minutes.
Okay, 2 to 3 minutes. Got it. 5 minutes. So my story began about 7 years ago. I was 39, and I was feeling the typical aches and pains. And this is just a new aside that I learned thanks to Steve Harvey and Family Feud. But the typical age that people start noticing aches and pains is 40, right? So I was a year ahead at 39. I thought I had cancer. Turns out I wasn't, but my buddy Neil had been trying to tell me about my diet for over a year. I've been going to his gym, and long story short, I had been given the old Heisman stiff arm, like, no thank you. But when I got concerned about maybe leaving my wife a widow, and more importantly, my little girl an orphan, I'm sitting in his office at the gym, and he says, well, I've been trying to tell you about Juice Plus and about addressing your diet, and who do you have that's closer to me that I could that could tell you what you should be doing, and that you would address that. So long story short, he talked to me about, what Juice Plus had done for him, and a number of the clinical studies that have been, and one by one, I'm like, oh, that study applies to me. That study applies to me. So I finally got on. And when I did get on, I was pretty, 60% about it, like I still had extra in my cabinet at 4 months when I told them, I think I'm just going to cancel. I don't really need to spend the extra money. My wife had given me a hard time about it because I bought without asking. So, because, it's a partnership, right? So, it's not a small thing. And he said, well, let's go through the effect survey first. So I said, okay, we'll go through the effect survey. And I humored him, and so one by one, he's going through these things. And I think I answered yes to like half of them. But the big first thing that I noticed was my allergies were significantly better, like 75, 80% better. And my allergies are about as bad as you can probably find. I'm probably top 5% of allergy sufferers. So, so I went from thinking that I was going to cancel my Juice Plus to say, no, let's just keep it going. And so I kept going. And over time, I noticed other things. The inflammation in my knuckles that had jammed playing basketball had eased up. And I could crack a knuckle that I couldn't crack in 20 years. It's not a life-changing thing, but it was a significant mile marker for me. I'm like, this is really doing something, right? 20 years I've had this jammed knuckle. We had a miracle baby come of it once I got my wife on Juice Plus. I was just watching that video today. It was a few years ago that we put that announcement video on Facebook Live, kind of sharing with the world that, the good things that God had done for us, and that he had opened a door that had been shut for years with lots of miscarriages and years of not so much as a miscarriage. So yeah, that's really, we're just surveying the tip of my story there, but there's a lot of other things I could point to, friends that have said that they're off their depression meds, or the fog is lifted mentally, or athlete's foot not showing up, or, this, that, and the other. It's crazy, the things that I've seen. But yeah, so Juice Plus has been good to me, and I just really see it as God's blessing in my life for sure. So, and that wouldn't have come if it hadn't been for Melanie sharing with Neil at a 5K event or something like that. And then Neil, shares with me, and then I'm sharing with people, and I've got dozens of people that I'm, helping to get healthier in their lives too. So anyway, I'm sure I'm over my 5 minutes already. So
I love it. Okay, we're playing tag you're it. So who do you want to tag?
hey, look, I'm gonna stick with the man beat. So let's go to Henry.
Well, I don't think my story is as polished as his. So, can you guys hear me? I can't hear you. So, okay. We started just like multiple people in Juice Plus. We started with Juice Plus and then stopped because I cared more about Hostess cupcakes and Dr. Peppers than I did about those fruits and veggies in a capsule. And I will tell you that my vegetable intake consisted of meat, because I believe that that's what, how I got my vegetables. That's what food eats. Food eats the vegetables, then I eat the food, and then I get my veggies that way. And if it wasn't handed to me from a drive-through window in a sack with the option to large size it, I wasn't eating it. And then lo and behold, I started to feel really, really bad. I was overworked, poor diet, stressed out. And I finally went to the doctor, and they took some blood and said, you're a 30-something man that has mono. How is that possible? Well, I don't know, tell me. And so a friend of ours said, please take these capsules. We were trying to figure out how we were going to survive on no income once the doctor said I was going to be out of work for 6 months. Started the capsules, and 6 weeks later, I went back to work. No sign of the monovirus being active in my body. We started eating better along with the capsules, and some of the other things I noticed, well, it never affected my hair, unfortunately, but I do have a cracked vertebrae from the Army, and that used to give me a lot of problems on a regular basis. And now it rarely, if ever, flares up. So I think that taking those capsules on a daily basis absolutely helps with the inflammation in that area, keeps things in line where they should be. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
Yay! Yay! All right. Whose story do you want to hear?
Let's hear Wanda's.
Well, I have the great pleasure to say that I had seen Mamel's, she'd mentioned Juice Plus to me a number of years before I decided to join. And I thought, well, that sounds nice and so forth, but I wasn't at a place that I needed to hear it. You know what I mean? We all have those places. And so then when our college roommate Brenda decided that she wanted to expand and start to, work on her business, she needed someone to help out. And so I got a call from him and I jumped in. And then of course I started taking the Juice Plus, and I just started out with a duo, and I had, within 3 months, I was already, feeling more energized. And I started to notice that the usual fall allergies that happen at this time of the year weren't happening. And then I didn't get any colds or flu in the winter, or sinus infection or any of that. And then in the spring, I didn't get any more of the spring allergies. And so I was thinking there really is something to this. And of course I put my daughter Jillian on it. She was the senior in high school and super active, and she never got a cold or flu during the winter seasons. And she was able to still have the energy to keep up with her crazy senior year in high school activities and band and jazz band and all of those sorts of things. And so that's where, I felt like this is something that I'm ever going to take forever. I don't care what happens. I'll cut out other things if things get tight, but I'm always going to have my Juice Plus. And I've never strayed from that. And I can't imagine not having it with me. And then I got my parents started on it too at the same time, and it saw them through a bout of cancer. And now my mom's 86, and I think I would have already lost her if she hadn't been on Juice Plus. And so that's just irreplaceable. And that's just how grateful I am for this product and this, group of people to, be encouraged by and share with, and all of that.
That's awesome, Wanda.
Can I tag somebody? Because I want to go back to the beginning where we've all kind of named Mamel. And she's got a pretty remarkable story over the last 14, 15 years, like longevity. And I love her story. And I say, tag, you're it.
Yep, I've been tagged.
She is hosting the call, so she is the boss.
She is the boss tonight. We like to argue over who gets to be the boss.
The three of us aren't bossy ever.
Well, thank you.
Inside, Mindy will jump in and
Well,
I'm convinced that bossy is just a piece of leadership. It just is.
it is, because it takes some boldness to do what we're doing.
It does.
It really does. So what an honor, you guys. So 15 years ago, I found myself having a baby in my 40s, and it was a great surprise to me. Yes, I know how it works. I just thought it was all over. And I was having a baby at a time.
Tammy about fell out of her chair.
I haven't said that one for a while. But, oh my gosh. So at a time, I heard about Juice Plus when my little boy was about 5 years old. And I was watching him grow up. He's, just the curly hair and the blue eyes at a time when my parents had gone into the degenerative disease stages and they were going downhill. And I'm looking at this, and it was a health crisis for me, because I thought, If I do what they do, I'm going to get what they got, and it's not going to work out for me because I've got this cute little boy and I want to meet my grandchildren. And the other part was I never wanted him to be embarrassed that I was his mom. And that just became a big, hairy goal of mine, that MJ would be proud of me. And I'll tell a little bit more, but long story short, he is proud of me. And when he tells his friends that I'm 62 years old, his friends in college, because he's a junior at Bradley University, they call him a liar. She is not. And he's like, check it out. She's 62 and she's awesome. And so my aunt caught wind of me on this search. I was crying out to God, you guys. Here's what I want you to know. People in your life right now are on their knees or just crying out to God, just crying because they feel so bad, and nobody wants to feel bad. Everybody wants to have the energy that they need to do the things that they love and to be with the people they love. And unfortunately, it just doesn't happen a lot these days. And so my aunt called me. She caught wind of my search and she said, I've got these fruits and veggies in a capsule. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. I think you've lost it. But I was praying, I was calling out to God, and she called me. So I thought, what if that's my answer and I ignore it? That would be kind of dumb. What do I have to lose? Well, I started taking it. I thought, Mike and I talked about it and decided, 4-month commitment, what if? So I was going to be the family guinea pig. And during that 4 months, I started sleeping better because I had no light, excruciating insomnia. Like, I didn't sleep ever.
Not at night anyway.
Yeah, it was awful. And I started sleeping again. My afternoon nap disappeared. I had tons of energy. I went through the first winter of my life without a cold or a flu that would normally go into strep throat. And then I'd end up on antibiotics, and none of that happened that winter. And yet I didn't connect the dots because I'd been on a diet for 30 years, no lie, and the scale hadn't moved yet. So I was frustrated. I'm like, it costs too much. I'm not ordering it. It's dumb. And Mindy, who was in nursing school at the time, was like, hold up. Oh, my crown.
Tiara down.
Tiara down. So she appealed to me. She pointed out the changes and pointed out to me that I hadn't changed anything else. I had nothing else to attribute it to. So she convinced me to order my second box and to order her first box because she was in nursing school at the time, eating out of vending machines, never sleeping, sick as a dog. And she was experiencing this, and there was a role reversal because now I was the healthy one and she was the sick one, and she didn't like this role reversal. So she started taking it. We never went back from there after that. And 15 years later, in addition to what I said, I have gone down, I always forget if it's 2 or 3 sizes. I've gotten off thyroid meds. I started jogging again because a remarkable amount of joint pain is 95% gone. And I truly just have the vibrant life that I always dreamed of. And I'm really, really, really proud that my son is proud of me. I don't know how you could put a price on that. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Do I get to tag somebody? Sure. The boss is saying I can. I'd kind of like to hear from Scott. I know you're new, but I'd like to hear what appealed to you about Juice Plus and why you started taking it.
Alrighty. So I had joined. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I joined Juice Plus from Shelly Schneid. I currently work full-time in a Walmart distribution center where it's just constant cases right now. Finally, everything is getting under control, but I started a year ago with Juice Plus, which I should have started way before. I was in a job a year before I had started Juice Plus, so 2 years ago, as a case lot order filler, where I'm throwing anywhere between 4,000 to maybe 7,000 cases a day. And so let me tell you that I should have gotten on it sooner. but I did not know anything of it until of last year when I had got to know Shelly a whole lot more. We like to vend with each other. So when it comes to that, with vending, you know, she introduced me to Juice Plus, the benefits, and for me, it's always then was like the cost. You know, it's the cost. I was so worried. I was terrible with my money. I had a lot of credit cards, but now a year later, all my cards are paid off. I'm focusing on my health, um, and the other part of Juice Plus too, since taking these capsules, that I don't crave liquor as much anymore. I don't crave wine. I don't crave fast food. Like, it's amazing what it can do to like the taste buds with this. Even though it's encapsulated form, you're not taking any, you know, the physical eating the physical fruit or the vegetable, but it's what, you know, you're bridging the gap there. That's what I like about that with Juice Plus. So um overall though, now that I just did get a promotion at work uh this past week. So now doing a whole lot of onboarding and new hiring. So I'm doing way less physical work now. I'm no longer throwing those 4,000, 5,000, 7,000 cases a day at work, but I am now actually going to be training for my third marathon, which will be a day before my 30th next year. So,
Wow.
That's
yeah.
exciting.
I love that. I'm so glad we got to hear your story.
Can I just say, I'm loving that we're almost half dudes. Like, we're
I know. This is so
on TNT.
exciting.
I love it.
Yeah.
And if we have one more. Can I do one more? One more.
I think Scott should get to pick.
Okay, let Scott pick. I was gonna make the other dude tell his story when we would have heard from all of them.
Megan, I'll hear yours.
All right. I just love your stories, Scott. Thanks for sharing. My story kind of starts with Wanda. She invited, well, I saw one of her posts on Facebook where actually are both from Quincy. She's one of my good church friends that I've grown up with. I mean, she's kind of like a second mom to me. Well, Juice Plus mom too. But anyway, I saw one of her posts about the Shred 10 program, and at the time I was 23 years old. I'm still a youngster. I'm still in my 20s, but at the time I was working a full-time job. I'm doing retail. And I know what you're going, how you went through, Scott, because I did receiving and shipping where I would have to unload the boxes that you were throwing in the truck with at Kmart, and I was doing that full time, unloading trucks 3 times a week, doing that full time, and it's like it's a physical job. And then I was also helping my dad with his tree service business, which is definitely more physical. And I just would just come home being so tired all the time. Like, I'm in my 20s. They say like your 20s, you're in your prime, like you should like be so active, but I knew I wasn't fueling my body with the right things, and I was eating bad stuff and eating the junk, and so of course you're going to get junk results. And so since taking Juice Plus, I've been way more active. I'm a runner too. I've ran a couple 5Ks this year, and like before Juice Plus, I would never consider myself an athlete. And now doing Juice Plus, I am way more active. I have way more energy. I have way more better sleep. I have better skin. I've lost weight, and I just feel awesome compared to what I felt like before. And I just have a more brighter future ahead. And I know it's because of that mental clarity that Josh was talking about with taking the Juice Plus capsules. And I'm just so grateful because it's not only helped me personally, but it's helped my family a ton. My mom has dealt with some significant liver issues, and that's part of my story too, is that I saw her, how she was going with her health, and I didn't want to go down that road too. And I was like, if she's having that track record, I don't want to have that. And so I got to do something with my health. And since being on Juice Plus, for me personally, I've got my mom on Juice Plus, and she was a diabetic. She's no longer taking any diabetes medicine. She used to take the insulin shots, and the different pills. She had like, I don't know how many different pills that she was taking every single day, and she's no longer taking any of that. Her numbers are consistently looking very good. The doctors are amazed at how well she's doing, and she still has her liver issues, but she's definitely improving in that area as well. So all good things are forward for us, and we're just excited to see what happens more for our healing journey. So that's what my story is.
Wow. That's amazing. Do you guys want to hear one more? Okay, Megstar, whose story do you want to hear?
I think I want to hear Katie Beth's story. I know she's right.
That was awesome. I did too.
If I don't say it, my face will. At least that's what I'm told. So, deer
Go
in
for it,
headlights.
girlfriend.
Well, I'm kind of new, so I'm still, developing and experiencing things. But I met Mindy at a time in my life when I was struggling, particularly financially. If you don't know, I'm a preschool teacher. Preschool teachers don't make very much money. But it was what I'm called to do. It's what I'm passionate about, is working with kids and helping them to know that they are good, that they are loved, that they can always start again because they are so loved. And I've known that for a long time, that this is my calling, whatever happens, like I'm not going to give it up. But I met Mindy at a time when I had to make a decision because I was offered a job with a little bit more pay doing something I didn't really care about. It's selling wire and cable for broadcast, and wasn't something I was excited about. But at that point in my life, I was worried about my kids, and I was worried about, my husband, who was burning himself out supporting us. And so my physical concerns, like all of the crap that I was feeling, was kind of like on the back burner, because my mind was just so focused on like, how am I just going to survive to the next day? Like, where's our next dinner going to come from? I don't even know, and somebody was like, well, what if I said I had a way that could maybe help you keep teaching and doing what you love and maybe like feel better? And I hadn't thought about feeling better for a long time, but preschool teachers get sick a lot. My very first day ever teaching preschool, I remember a little girl named Emily sneezing directly in my face, point blank, into my eyeballs. I felt the droplets in my face, and this is a daily occurrence, but I did not get sick towards the end of teaching. When we left school in March and didn't know when we were going to come back, I hadn't gotten sick. And I started noticing that I was more awake, because I also have a thyroid problem, which has been medicated for years. I am iron deficient. I have chronic fatigue from having had mono and still have Epstein-Barr in my blood every single draw. So it's like this triple whammy of fatigue. And one of the first things I noticed was like my husband asking me, instead of, did you take your Levo this morning? He started saying, did you take your Juice Plus today? And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Like I forgot about that. But it helped with that. And then I think a lot of people have talked about taste bud changes. That was probably the first thing that I noticed on my own. So when my husband's like, hey, you're not napping, and I'm more concerned about you getting this in your body than the levothyroxine in the morning. I had bought a package of Oreos during a very hormonal time and shoved them like in the back of the pantry. And I think I was like through bottle 1 when I'm like digging through my pantry, getting organized and going, wait, there's still a couple packages of Oreos back there. Like I didn't eat them. I didn't go looking for them at any point. They just got buried. So I'm still noticing a lot of changes, and I'm just so thankful for everybody here sharing their stories, because there's a lot of you that, have shared stuff that either I relate to or I know somebody is struggling with. So, and that's the biggest and bestest change that I've noticed, is just being surrounded by all these wonderful people who are just rays of literal human sunshine. So thank you guys for that.
Can you tell about Breton a little bit too?
Oh yeah, so Josh knows, because he was super helpful in talking to me about Brett. But my son has severe asthma, severe allergies. This is the first year that he has not been admitted to the hospital in June and July for 2 to 4 days on breathing treatments with low oxygen. That started when he was 2. So every year I knew in June we were going to be in the hospital and better start saving because hospital stays are not cheap. And this is the first year we've touched his emergency inhaler once. His nebulizer has not been out of the medicine cabinet in the house. And he's gone a few days without Singular. And there's some days, like some days are better than others, but there's days I'll be like, hey, when was the last time you took your Singular? And I'm looking at his little container going like, it's been 3 days and you're fine, So he's been doing great.
I love that.
So what are you saving for now instead of a hospital visit?
That's a good question. I'm hoping to start a master's degree in fall.
So that's exciting.
What a
That would
better
be
thing
nice.
to spend your money on.
I know, right?
Yeah, something that's building for your future. I love that, you guys. I hope you're so encouraged by these stories. I know I was. But I'm going to throw it back to Cammie to wrap this up because she is our bossy host tonight.
I so need the crown. Like, every time you say that, I'm like, see, look. Okay, so one thing I did want to touch on is we showed the Core Rank flyer, and that was something that came out of conference. And they called Core Rank QSC, but TNT has taken it a step farther and gone, it's a QSC rank with a qualified business. So those of Partner Plus, and QSC that aren't qualified yet, that's what that is for, is we're going to show you how to do that if that is something that you want to do. If you have questions, obviously get with your sponsor, but I want to kind of explain that a little bit. Because we are starting those and I'm so excited about Core Rank. Like, we're getting back to the basics and I love it. So other than that, we're going to wrap up and say, thank God, these stories were awesome, weren't they? I love it. It never gets old. I don't care how many times I've heard every one of your stories, they never get old. So I'm hoping some people were writing a list. I was thinking of names. So I'm like, oh, I need to get this person connected with that person and that person connected with this person. And your sponsor can always get a hold of us that spoke tonight on stories, or even if we didn't tell our story, we're always open to helping you out that way. So have a fantastic evening and we will see you.
Bye, everybody.